Hey everybody, Karen Rowe here from Grand Junction, Colorado. Thank everybody in advance for watching this video. What I'm going to talk to you today about your premier business is it's not so much about who you know, but who you don't know. And I know you're probably sitting there going, what is she talking about? If I don't know them, how can they be helping my business? And I wanted to think of a creative way so that you would understand what I mean about the people you don't know being a major part of your business. And I was out in my garden the other day, pulling up some weeds, making some plants, doing all that kinds of stuff. And I thought, I know a really good illustration for that. So let me show you two types of things. Both of these are different types of plants and they have different types of root systems. We're going to liken these to our premier businesses. This is just a little plant that we have in the garden. I love it. It's everywhere. But if you look at it, the root system is more horizontal. It's very, very shallow. It's not very deep at all. And when those roots come down, they just go out. And I just plop this right out of the ground. No resistance whatsoever. It's not even in deep. The plant itself is very, very fragile. And that's called a fibrous root system. And because of the root system not going very deep into the ground and just being very shallow and outlined, everything affects the plant. If it gets too much water, it's going to die. If it doesn't get enough water, it's going to die. If it's too hot, it's going to die. If it's too cold, it's going to die. It is a very high maintenance plant. And part of that is the fibrous root system. It doesn't mean that it's not pretty and it's not a viable plant. It just means that it's going to take a lot more nurturing to keep it in its proper condition. The second type of root system that I thought might be a good analogy for our premier business is a tap root. And that's like this. It's kind of like what you see on carrots, but I want you to really think about trees because that's what this is. It's a very small baby little sapling that's coming off of a tree in the yard. If you look, it still has the horizontal root system, just like on the fibrous plant. But then what else it has that the fibrous plant doesn't is this part here, and it starts from the very center of the plant. You can see that stalk that's keeping that plant upright comes all the way down and continues to go deep into the dirt. This plant doesn't come up very easily. You almost have to have a shovel to help get it up, just like a tree. And so that taproot system, because that taproot holds that tree in there very, very firm into the dirt, it doesn't die as easily in drought or extreme cold or extreme heat, or if it doesn't get enough water, or if it doesn't get too much water. It causes that to become stable and resistant. Okay, so now let's talk about our premier business. I don't know about you, but everybody I've met at some time or another, including myself, currently, everybody has a time where they look at their calendars and they go, oh my goodness, I don't have anything on my calendar. What am I going to do? And it's a very panicky situation because if you don't have anything on your calendar, you really don't have a business. And when we first start in Premier, we're always told, take those 100 people that you know, develop that list of 100 people you know, call on them to help you. Get Aunt Betty to have a party, call Grandma and have her order. And if we never do more than friends and family, we end up creating a business that's just like the fibrous plant. It's just like this one. Our little business is very shallow and it's very weak. We're just going to be able to pull it right up, and everything that happens is going to affect that business. Eventually, we're not going to have anything on our calendars. And that means we're going to call those same people again and ask them for help. We're going to call those people again and tell them we're having a special. We're going to call those people again and tell them we're having a flash sale. We're going to have a booking-a-thon and send out texts. We're going to have a phone-a-thon and call everybody up. We're going to have another flash sale. We're going to have a open house. But we're constantly just going after that same group of people, and pretty soon they go, stop. And if you really think about it, if you had a business, would you still need those same people? Sure, we want regulars coming in all the time. I want repeat customers. I want repeat hostesses, but I don't want my business to consist of just the 100 people I know. So how do I develop that strong system like a tree. I have to look at that taproot. That big, strong one. Look, it goes all the way up, all the way down. That's strangers. Just like the fibrous, this is all your acquaintances. This is strangers. So let's talk about the difference. When we first start our business, we want to have as many shows and opportunities on all of the church groups, kids, activity people, people that we know from school, people that we might work with if we have a secondary job. I'm older. I have older kids, maybe the people I know through them and them themselves. People I have been acquainted with, my best friends, family, and acquaintances. And that person that has a party from you, when they book, they're an acquaintance. They're not really even a stranger. A stranger, those are that horizontal root system that supports the branches that are growing, but we have to have a firm, steady trunk that can withstand the winds, the droughts, the climate changes, everything that our business is going to go through in the years that we continue to do Premier. And that is a stranger-based feeding system. So if you have attended a lot of trainings, you hear about lifestyling. Lifestyling is huge. And when I first started in Premier, I kept going, what is lifestyling? I didn't know what it was. It was a term that I hadn't heard before. And all it is just meeting people that you've never met before. You don't know their name. You've probably never seen them before, and developing a relationship with them. It's a lead. If you think of the word lead, it means a beginning. And that's exactly what a lead system is. It's the beginning to a relationship. I mean, think about it. If you think about your business being a brand new little sapling tree and you're getting all of those horizontal systems done through your friends and your family, but every day you're feeding that taproot with strangers that you're meeting, eventually you're going to have a tree that is huge, like Elizabeth Draper's. Imagine what the root system on her business looks like and how deep that taproot goes and the relationships that she has formed because she went and talked to strangers. And I know a lot of you are going, I can't talk to a stranger. Yes, you can. You didn't think you could do a jewelry show either, but you're doing them, and you're probably doing them really good. So let's just talk about going out and meeting strangers. It can be as easy as getting to know the waitress that you're dining with that night. It's a weekend, so let's just pretend we're going to be going out to dinner for a moment. When you go out, you're sitting at a table and a lady comes over and she says, hi, my name's Becky and I'm going to be your waitress tonight. And you can go, hey, hi, Becky, my name's Karen. It's nice to meet you. Now you're on a first name basis and she's not going to remember you probably. She's going to see a couple hundred people, but you're going to remember her. And if she's offered you good service, remember that and ask her at the end of the night, when you're paying for your bill, you can tell her, Becky, you were awesome tonight, and I really do appreciate the service that we got. Do you work here, usually on a Friday night, or what's your typical schedule? And then write it down when you get into the car. Don't talk to her about your business yet. You got to develop a relationship. That's what Premier is all about. People do business with people they know. And right now, you and Becky don't know each other too well. But you can ask her when she's here again, and then make it a point within a couple weeks to go back and have another dinner, or just even an appetizer if you're short on funds. And when you go back in and you ask for Becky's station, that always looks good because they do find out Becky got I asked for Becky type of an award that night. So when you sit in the table, you can tell her, hey, Becky, we were here a couple weeks ago. You just offered us such great service. We just wanted to sit with you again. This time you can have maybe a mini catalog in your purse. And when you give her tips, say, you know what, Becky, you're so awesome. We've enjoyed both visits that we've had here. And I know that a tip is customary, but you've gone way out of your way. What I would really like to do is give you a catalog. I sell jewelry for a living, and on there is a gift certificate, and I want you to have that above and beyond the tip. Now just imagine how special you've made Becky feel. That would just be, imagine how you would feel if someone did that for you. I'm not pressuring her. Whether she uses the gift certificate or not is okay, because it's not going to hurt. She already got her tip, but it's, oh, how nice. And then I may even call her manager over and say, she is absolutely a phenomenal waitress, and you should be really glad you have her as an employee, and compliment her so that the manager knows it as well. What that has done is I am going to be a little bit easier to remember now in Becky's world. And I may go back in another couple weeks, maybe 2 or 3, and ask for Becky again. At some point, I've got to get brave enough and ask Becky for personal information. I'm going to ask her when I give her the mini catalog. I'm going to say, Becky, what I'd really love to do is mail you a big catalog if you'd like one. If you could give me your, address and phone number, that would be great. I'm not going to stalk you or anything. It would just be something that I would like to do. That way I've got Becky's information. I don't know what's going to happen in the world, but I've already started a relationship with Becky, and I would hate to go back in there and find out that for whatever reason Becky's not working there anymore. She got a job at another restaurant. That way I've got her information. During the night, as Becky has come over to the table, she might have told me that she had a couple kids that were in school, and maybe it's summer and school's getting out, or that she herself is in school, going to college, and she was just getting ready to take her test or whatever. You know how it goes as you get a conversation going. So maybe what I'll do is I'll take a card, and if I've got Becky's address, because I was going to mail her a catalog, maybe I'll take that catalog with a card and write down, I hope your test went well, or this issue did that, or your kids did this, hope your birthday party was fun, whatever hope you enjoyed your vacation, whatever it was, just a little bit of a personal note. I'm going to give that to Becky. When I decide that I'm going to have a mystery hostess party, or a client appreciation party, or just a party from the people that I have been meeting throughout the last 8 weeks, I'm going to invite Becky. She knows who I am. I'm not just some weird lady inviting her that she's never met. I can send her an invitation, and more than likely, she's going to come. And then I can develop a different relationship with her. So that's just one example. There's all kinds of YouTube videos and recordings from our upline and other uplines throughout the country that talk about all the creative ways that we can go and find strangers. We can take our jewelry into a coffee shop. If we work at home, think about, instead of going through your jewelry on a Tuesday morning when the kids are in school, go sit downtown at a coffee shop and go through your jewelry and itemize it and have it out and clean it. People are going to come over and ask, oh, that's so pretty. What are you doing? If you see somebody with beautiful jewelry on, don't be afraid to compliment them. I mean, imagine if you had your jewelry on and someone said, that is such a beautiful necklace. I love it. It makes you feel good. So even though it may not be Premier that's around their neck, they like jewelry and they're wearing it. And you can go up and say, I just wanted to let you know, I saw that necklace you were wearing. It's absolutely beautiful. I sell jewelry for a living, and I just wanted to tell you how pretty it was. Now that leads open into her. If she's interested in the lead, she'll say, really, do you make jewelry? Do you sell it? What kind? Whatever. But it leaves the door open. And the more you do that, the more people that you're going to be able to start building acquaintances with. And then we're going to be able to take those acquaintances and we're going to be able to start to build relationships with. And again, that's what Premier is all about, is it is building relationships. It is being personal. There's a lot of us here that work on Facebook a lot. There's ways to find out what people are doing on Facebook. I'm in Argentina this weekend, and if you know who they are, you can instant message them and tell them, hope you had a fun trip. It's more than just liking or leaving a comment. It's actually trying to develop a relationship and a friendship with that person. Because the more strangers we draw into our lives, we're basically feeding that taproot system for our tree, and we're making it extremely strong. If all we do is rely on friends and acquaintances, then we're very shallow, and the minute a big wind comes, we're going to fall. And we're going to look at our calendar and we're not going to have anything. And I don't know how many of you have empty calendars right now. I know that we have some of the girls here in Grand Junction. We're getting a big thing together so that we can learn how to get bookings when there isn't any. And these are some of the ways that we're actually working on it as well. So I'm going to challenge you to get out of your comfort zones and do a couple things. Number one, I want you to decide how many people you want to meet on a regular basis. Eric Worre, who wrote the book Go Pro, which shows 7 steps that you should try to master when it comes to network marketing, says 2 people every day. Get the names and contact information of 2 people every day and get creative to figure out a way to stay in touch with them. So whether you want to do 1 a day, 2 a week, 2 a month, whatever you're comfortable with, I want you to set a goal for yourself. Share it with your upline, share it with your sideline, share it with somebody so that you can be held accountable to that. And then I want you to think of 4 or 5 different ways that you can get out into your community to meet those people that you're supposed to meet. Whether it's at the swimming pool or at the bank with the bank teller, somewhere where you can go and have repeated business and pretty much be assured that you're going to see that same person. Don't be afraid to compliment a stranger because you would enjoy the compliment as well. The next opportunity I get in our All-Star Challenge is talking about how then to further and develop a relationship so we can take those goals and build on it in the next video. So the one thing I want to end with is the Premier Designs Jewelry is a phenomenal business, and it's a very forgiving business. We can go from 50 shows in a year to 3 shows in a year to 100 shows in a year, and Premier is exactly what you need it to be, and how you need it to be. So thank goodness for Premier. And it is all about relationships. And again, it's more about who we don't know than who we do know. And those that we don't know, isn't it exciting to know that we get to know them? And just think about that. If we did 2 people a week, that's over 100 new acquaintances in a year. If only 1/4 of them did business with you, that's 25 new people. If only 1/10 of them did business with you, that's still 10 new people. Just think about that. If you did 2 a day, think about how many that is. That would be huge to all of our businesses. So here's my challenge. Get out of your comfort zone. Go find some strangers and do your gardening. Develop that strong root system. Have an awesome weekend, and I look forward to seeing you again. Thanks.